Dad is still in Boston being examined. They tapped his spine again yesterday. My mama is in the hospital in Covington. It's unbelievable what true pain must be. Not pain imposed from without and moving inward. Pain whose source can be measured, even quantified. But pain whose source is equally in the mind and heart and moves from the inside out and is immeasurable. Pain which transforms everything, including one's ability to feel and to think, to conceive of one's life as separate from it, to remember one's life. Everything feels equally hideous, and I can't even think of any future without dreading it. It's true this house is dreadful. Century-old cracked ceilings, plaster showering the floors of the north room. Bare, dank, cold, lightless. And outside a two-thirds dead small town, whose citizens seem retarded, criminal, crippled, deformed, or deaf-mute. Very old, old-timey Negroes and white folks. Even the dark seems filled with some strange turpentine, filters some off-color blue, noxious gas. There seem to be slight ripples in the medium between you and the town. The limbs of the dead trees stretch out further than they should, wavering in the warped windows of abandoned stores. Down Main, downtown, down. The city is a well gone dry, and seeping back into it, pooling like puddles in the street, an amazing confraternity of grotesques, strange yet familiar types from some earlier collection, surfacing in the pages of the anthology, reissued, reflections in a golden eye. Here one is enormous, obese, with a huge lump on her neck. Here's another one bent near the ground, a little old black man with a cane shuffling very slowly, poking with the tip of his stick sideways with a twisting motion, as if trying to turn up something, scrounging as he passes in the dirt to stir up something, anything, nothing. None of them seem quite alive, no one more than another, reflected in the pain of fever and whatever else. Divorce, oblivion, consternation, downfall. End quote. Vielen Dank, Herr Günther Eick. I'm traveling a worn path, but to discover something, however spurned or shameful in my cheap imitations, in words however shapeless, thank you, Mr. Faulkner, sir. Straggly with the slime which floats up from it and down. This style seems a bit too cheaply purchased, like an old dime-store fishing lure with nary a bite yet, trolling, all bent out of shape now, pretending to catch a meal, when really it's only dredging up some huge old muddy half-rotten tractor tire, like the plump face with oily skin and the name Saul, the milky brow, the too pale arms, albino. Saul, who never cussed, who clung to his Bible in the John, parting his fly delicately with 2 fingers. The chicken Saul, excused from Jim, permanently with his mama's salves and medicines, of which he smelt, baked into the soft, fat, blanched drumstick flesh by her assiduous treatments, or so Heggie guessed, good old Heggie, until we shunned him, until no one ever looked at him, and he looked at no one. Or the wiry wrists gripping the head and spinning the chicken's body off, and the plump body flipping over, bouncing, getting up, stretching its wings, flutter, zigzag, out, out, and out, on its last walk into the dirt in the backyard. Then Mr. Carr with the eyes and beak in his grip, tossing them nonchalantly away, off into the shrubbery. Or the mangy bloodhound loping beyond the near pasture into the blue barrel sights, waiting, Black Samson's milky taut finger, squeeze, click, the deafening boom, kick back and howl, fused into the howl, one moment, forever, and the next, red, splashed on the fence post, then next, so still, the clotted eyes, the chest hairs soaked and matted, then Samson's face, rising over it, swollen like a brown moon. Or Mrs. Craig, our maid, her reek of mountains, unwashed age, sickness, sorrow, sex, strangeness, or uncanniness, the udder in the nostrils, down the long corridors into the neurons, and so is rooted, and so blooms long after in the loamy dendrites, in fever, bent back, strangling on the brain stem, like a country club lady, me, frightful, the hollow staring, after on a large sea here, with hooked ends, after on arrows with fishing hooks at the tip of each arrow, end of the sea. With hooked ends is a blown open skull, and underneath the claws the bristling thumb claw and forefinger claw, pressed together and lift out of the broken neck bone the blue jugular vein of the black chick, and examine her with steely eye beads, as black as buckshot. These inspect the little vulture with a little revulsion, and these flash on at night for the patients, wherever the big four walls up on an inmate, or two, or three, four. Four's good. Walls big, pale, smooth, bare, enough for the projector. 4, 4, 4, and you got a whole town, bud. But it don't matter none, 'cause there ain't no paramount in this burg, so wherever he wants to is all right. So he sets up so the walls come on for the blink of a eye, one or two, off and on and on, wobble all jittery, totter, bounce, fade, flicker, on. They won't know how many, but it tends to make 'em right nervous. They won't know where to look. Therefore it makes 'em maybe 4 screens, maybe not. Not just 4, but 4, 4, and 4, 4, 4, 4, and so on. It might go on forever, but it all ain't nothing but a big square knot, which multiplies in inverse ratio absolutely, 4 trimmings to the equator, 4, 4 on the Richter, times Z, set egal. It's all equal to 2. I done told ye precisely. I need not mention it, but you know what now, Joseph? No, Granny. Not. So in this long, tall, raw-boned city now, here they are. They swell, they square. They's only approximativement 4 to the 4th, ainsi par conséquence, c'est bien comme ça. Thus that's all right. It's just a normal square, block or 2, 3, 4, very good, just fine. But each little un adds up, before you know it, to the well, all's well that ends it, 'tis of thee. You know how it does. 3 shaving mirror. the shaven mirror, which is just so smashin'. The big un, oh, you know how it goes. Savas brimmin' with gleamin' scales, little bitty bites and hawk eyes, buckeyes and bits of fish, flesh, foul, ha, Amy, I just growl, play, buddy on a high night, when da fevers, for Eva, I, I. All you are allures me fishy face and a razor, walled in a mirror hatchety oblique junctions you must run away from lunging. You must ward off the ice picks packed in the picnics. This fever's getting worse. December 17th, Birmingham. What have I been doing, you ask? I'm getting better. I want to walk about, wander about, with open eyes. I see a squad car slide under the window, 2 policemen from the side of the house, carrying the small white form of a woman. I dream of running, with a pack of wild dogs loose in the streets. I run, through smells of cedar and pine, stacked in the parking lot beside the hospital. A smell of mountains or sawmills. I read in the Southern Courier, in Gene Croucher's bookstore at 5 Points South, a black man is murdered. I read a review of Persona. I listen to a record of Sartre's play, Huis Clos, 3 People in Hell. December 18th, Birmingham. A letter from Mother today said the doctors found, quote, organic brain deterioration. They had not yet told Dad. Have told him by now. December 22nd, Davidson. Martine and the children arrived 2 days ago in bitter cold, high wind. It was snowing. Dad drove me into Charlotte, and it took forever. Though he'd made the same trip 1,000 times, he'd forgotten the way in. So we drove around and around on the west side of Charlotte for what seemed hours, through mazes of murky streets, circling. Kept passing through the same places, but he didn't seem to realize it. The man on the wire again. For me as well. I didn't know the way either. I'd been once or twice, but I'd never had to pay attention, because he'd always driven. He'd always known the way in to everything. But then, as it turned out, the plane was late, so it didn't matter. So we're waiting for them as if nothing happened. Now the door opens and they're descending onto the slippery runway. Little Noah with the hand of a pretty stewardess, chattering in flawless German, which obviously escapes her. But she smiles anyhow and murmurs something. And now comes Martine, holding the little one wrapped up in a blanket. Only the eyes appear, and the pug nose. It's Dad's. I wonder if he sees. I'm waiting. The icy wind blows. I'm waiting. Pretty soon he'll take over again. Wait just a moment. He'll know what to do. He'll decide. Wait now. He's about to take charge again, in his own way, which once, I'm starting to realize, filled every gap in my life. Well, almost every one. But he says nothing, does nothing. So we stand there, the 5 of us. That's what I remember, vacant cement off to the left, wind blowing the flapping corners of a tarp. Silence. December 28th, Davidson. Ich beneide sie alle, die vergessen können. I envy them all who can forget, who can sleep calmly and have no dreams. I envy myself the past moments of blind contentment. Und die Augenblicke blinder Zufriedenheit. But at very bottom, says Günther Eich, if you want to know, I think even the good conscience is not enough, and I doubt the good of this sleep into which we've all drifted. There's no pure happiness, was there ever? And I want somebody to wake up. I want to be able to talk to him and tell him, Ich möchte den einen oder anderen Schlafer aufwecken und ihn sagen, es ist gut so. And maybe you've started once, and maybe awakened out of the tenderest embrace because a cry pierces your ear, that cry which ceaselessly the earth cries, and which you might otherwise misinterpret for the noise of the rain or the rushing of the wind. Can you see what is there? Seh, was es gibt, imprisonment and torture, blindness and tears, death in many forms, the bodiless pain and the fear which means life, a billion mouths collecting the earth's cry. Listen, look, for it is yours. For the eyes of those you love brim over with consternation and downfall. You are a part of everything that happens. Noah. Hast du Post? Wo ist unser Pyro? Wo ist Pyro? Wo ist Pyro? Zzz, beißt. Unten ist die Postamt. Under the table is the post office. Können Sie bitte hier hinkommen zu den Postbeamt? Can you please come here to the post office? We haven't had a moment in 4 days. All was well Christmas, but temporary. They had not told Dad. They tell him this afternoon. He and Mother have gone to Charlotte. Martine, Noah and Eva are here. Hierhin. Können Sie bitte hierhin kommen? I can't bear the pressure. Davidson, January the 1st. Noah says, Mike, wo gehtst du hin? Warum sind wir in Amerika? Wo ist dein Haus? Martine is just there, laughs with Mother and Dad, seems content, but suffers because the long separation and the barriers between us which the others can't see, and Dad also seems well. So everything has the character of an appearance, the appearance of well-being, stability. Mimi does not yet know of the medical report. It seems that the forces have lifted me off the ground, and my feet and arms are waving up there detached. There is contact with Martine and Eva and Noah, but with Martine and me looking at each other across this barrier. They must be wondering where I am. I have to go back. Davidson, January 13th. Can't send this airmail. The planes are grounded. People are coughing upstairs. All the roads are closed. All the events are cancelled or postponed. Except one. dredged up on this wrecked beach, like a pearl in a shell, in his arms. Dad is smiling as he holds her, so tiny, so helpless, looking up into his strange blue eyes, which are not hers. And he lifts his hand and very delicately touches with the tip of his forefinger the tip of her tiny nose, which is his. A Christmas present from Germany, a Neugeboren Kinderlein. Otherwise there's only time, which carries each one on endlessly in his own way toward the end. It's as if all the events were stripped from these days. The sky's white and gray and dark and gray and white, and the transitions are imperceptible from gray to dark, but continuous, like the opening chord of the symphony, prolonged, until now is full of then, and then is now, until all the notes reach each other and darken, and downfall snows down slowly, inevitably. Now's then, its very own. Now's snow, and is now. The snow's now, and the snow's snow. And the now snows, and is the snow's now. Snows, now, snows, now, snows. Now snows, now snows, now snows. Now here's no where. Down falls the snow now. Now's now. Now's snow. January the 2nd, Davidson. Dad will announce his resignation day after tomorrow. I try to compose his speech, but Francis wrote a better one. The suddenness of this is a shock. Mother and Dad have no idea what they will do. I'm glad Mimi is here. Her mind cuts through our somnolence. I've tried to call out. How strange that sounds. But I couldn't reach the operator. The lines are down again. The connection's undone. How strange everything sounds. We're standing around or stretched out in frozen attitudes, like the limbs on campus. The trees are whiter and whiter, heavier and heavier. The ice around the stems, the twigs, the dead leaves. You can hardly see the darkness in them. Das Eis ist Eis, says Noah. The ice is das Eis. Schnee, Schnee, snow, snow, Nacht, night. Falls slowly. Licht, light, darkens. Ice seeps into the snow and grips it. Your feet hardly sink in. It sheathes the branches, droops in clouds near the ground. It grips the shorted dead limbs over Dad's head. It sheathes his ankles and grips him. Schnee ist snow, Eis, ice, Nacht, night, stille Nacht, silent night. Stille ist silent. Versteht's? Sleep, little baby, don't you cry. Dad sings. Off key as usual. He seems all right now, in some ways. Ice ist ice, but snow isn't. Snow isn't Schnee. Verstehst du, mein Sohn? It's now. Snow. Do you understand? Versteht is understand. Versteht is German. Understand is understand. It isn't versteht. Do you understand? I have a new perspective on my life. It's that I don't have it. Others do. And others lack theirs. And so on. So we all suffer the lack of something or someone. So we're all searching for the rest of our lives. And some are finding something, and some would find anything at all. Zum Beispiel, das Eis ist Eis. And some are finding nothing. Snows now. Dust and mortal. I'm preoccupied now with what to do if this gets worse. The temperature is 27, and it's 27 minutes before 3 o'clock. Schnee. Schnee ist Snow, Snow, sagte Noah. But the ice is the same. Ice. But nicht is not. Verstehst du? Nicht ist no. Nicht Nacht, like night, not. Not. It's almost the same as night, understand? But it is not. Nicht is not, and night is not, almost. Die Nacht ist nicht, die Nacht ist nicht, nicht, cries Noah, laughing. Nicht wahr? Warum? Understand ist verstehen. Do you understand? Verstehst du, mein Sohn? Es ist ganz schwer, meine ich, ein Wort zu verstehen. But how do you mean something is anything when it isn't anything? I mean the snow. Do you understand? When it is everywhere, when everywhere is nowhere, and everything is nothing, or falls to nothing, or drips. Versteht's? Men ist mean. Night is dripping, but it's nothing, really. Almost. Night is dripping, but it's not nicht. Splinters of ice splinter and glitter and crackle. Versteht's? Do you understand, my son? I mean isn't mine. It isn't me, do you understand? Nothing is the same as gleich. Why are we here? Where is my house? Not here. It's all too confusing, I know, to hear night, right here. Here. Splinters of splinters, splinter, crack, rack, cracks, rack. There's a veil over everything, a glazed sheath. I can't explain it. It's not the night, It's this ellipsis, diamond hard, ironed thinly over us. Überall, that's the thing, crystal clear to a thinness, an airy lightness, so light, so clear. It presses on. Snow, snow, snows now. Schnee, schnee, through now and on. Through now's snow, now's now. Snow, snow, and on. Because it has to be there, from where he looks down on her, from where his eyes are naked as she is, because the night enters him, because he is full of night and snow and naught. For the snow erases memory, erases the snow. For he feels like the trees are snowbound, not what it is, but what it is, for he cannot speak now. No, Noah, not Schnee, for there are no more words, for the snow erases the snow. The roads to the lake are bogs, impassable. Martine should hear tomorrow from Tougaloo or Stetson.